The azimuthal equidistant projection map that the USGS actually uses.
Uh-oh, who's that? Is it Eric Dubay again on what sounds like a phone call? I don't know and I don't care, but this clip was uploaded to his very channel as Flat Earth Explained and Proven in 2 minutes. And well, if that isn't the boldest of bold claims that ever needed a hair transplant, I don't know what is. I mean, as we all know, every anti-science claim can be proven in mere minutes. It's those stupid science-believing morons that have to actually spend time explaining everything and actually demonstrating their claims. And don't they just take ages to do that shit? Therefore, it must be wrong. That's how that works, right?
Is the flat Earth map.
No, it really isn't. I mean, many of your lot have claimed it to be yours, but, well, it's in the name, isn't it? It's a projection map. It's literally a way of drawing the entire globe in a way that can be viewed and understood on a flat surface. But there are multiple caveats as to how it works and why it doesn't reflect reality if taken as a pure representation of the Earth. I mean, we have mapped out all the countries, and we did it way before this thing would have come to be in its present form. And pretty much all the countries don't look right on this map, because of course they don't, and they were never meant to. And only a complete idiot would ever think that it's supposed to be that way. Shocking, I would find such a claim from you.
The UN logo is another example of it.
Okay, sure, it is. I mean, I wonder why they would choose such a thing. Surely, if the world is a globe, they would only use globes to represent the world. Because it's not like they would want something that they could put on, oh, I don't know, their fucking flag, whilst also representing all of their member states. No, that can't be it. It must be there because for some reason the people who absolutely know the Earth is flat and are pretending that it isn't want to actually say, hey, the Earth is flat, guys, wink. We're just hiding it because of the ridiculous horse people who have not a sense of why we should do fucking anything.
The UN logo is actually a flat Earth map divided into 33 Masonic sections, by the way.
Uh-oh, it's the Masons again, back to their old tricks of having numbers in the world that, if they ever appear anywhere ever, must be related to them and their old man social/drinking club. How could they do this? Apart from the fact that sometimes fucking coincidences happen. I mean, that's assuming that 33 means dick all in that context anyway. I mean, 33 what? Is that how many times you have to let them spank you before you become a member? One can only hope.
But you can just type in flat Earth map on Google.
See, you do that, and yeah, you can get that map, but it's not actually a flat Earth map. I mean, seriously, you're so convinced that the them TM are just hiding this shit. You would think Google would be more involved, and you wouldn't get any of this, and more, what's the flat Earth? Never heard of him. Although, to be fair, that's not to say that Google is as happy as it used to be to spread clear and obvious scientific misinformation. In fact, it's harder to find flat Earth stuff these days, and on one hand that should stop ever more idiots from falling down rabbit holes, but it does make my job really fucking hard sometimes, because while this shit is still out there, people are still saying it, but it lurks now in places where only the vulnerable and the stupid are getting to see it, and no one, or well, barely anyone, is refuting this garbage, usually before getting banned.
It's a disc shape. The North Pole is in the center.
The projection map, yep, not the actual Earth though. And does that not give your lot pause? I mean, seriously, think about it. Why is it a disc or a circle, really? Why not a square or a tringle or a fucking irregular heptadecagon? But no, it's a circle. You know, the same thing it would be if it was actually a way of displaying the Earth on something that is not a sphere.
All the continents go out from there.
Like seriously, you look at this thing and it's completely laughable. Here's some older maps of Australia, charted by early explorers. People who were simply trying to get the most accurate map of the land masses they could, because if they didn't, no one was going to know where the fuck they were going when they go back there. And you compare even incomplete ones to the projection, and that shit looks completely ridiculous, while the early ones match up far more with what we know it to look like today. day. Why is that, Eric? Is it because the Earth isn't actually fucking flat? Or were they, TM, back then so desperate to deceive that they tricked the people who had no reason to do so into making shit maps that wouldn't have been very helpful? It seems pretty fucking unlikely.
And Antarctica, instead of being a ice continent on the bottom of the globe, actually surrounds us 360 degrees.
Absolutely false for a multitude of reasons, not least of which is that this version of it would make circumnavigating it take multiple times the length in time and distance to follow it around than it actually, does. There's also the fact that you can fly, walk, bike, skidoo, or whatever other wacky contraption you decided to use to get over the fucking thing. And for some reason, you will come out the other side, on the other side, pointing towards whatever part of the world is on the opposite side according to the quote-unquote, your quote-unquote map. Although, what's the chances on at least one flat earther thinking it works like fucking Pac-Man? Yeah, it's still flat, but the level just wraps around when you leave one side so it brings you back to the other. And if none of them currently do that, you just know one of them, if they ever hear this, they're going to be like, that's a good point. And I can only apologize for that happening.
And how far that ice goes outwards is unknown at this point.
Nope. It is in fact completely known how far outward it goes. It fucking doesn't, because it's not some plane that goes on beyond the borders of the world. I mean, the fact that you have no idea how far, if at all it does go, would make a lesser man question that maybe he's wrong about that statement. But not old Rick here, no. It must go beyond because that's what he thinks it does, and if he thinks it does, it must be true, even if we are being incredibly loose with our definition of the word think.
So it's a cover-up. That's what the Antarctic Treaty is all about.
I'm running out of ways I can think to say no to you, Eric. That is incorrect. The Antarctic Treaty covers up absolutely dick all. All it does is stop random countries from fucking up the last bit of Earth that hasn't been, fucked up yet. It's really as simple as that. And it, in fact, allows for people to go there and do all sorts of shit as long as you don't fuck it all up. I mean, to be fair, that's a really good reason not to let any flat earther go there ever. If there's one thing that they're good at, it's fucking everything up, especially their own goddamn brains. It's like skull soup in there, I swear.
That's why you can't independently explore Antarctica.
Yes, you can. You just have to make sure you let someone know that you're going there. Other than that, you can go explore it to your heart's content. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of a catch-22 for a flirt. You either go there and let someone know that's what you're doing, or you go there and you definitely die and no one fucking knows you were actually there. I mean, in some way, I'm sure you would think it's because you got by the ice garrison or whatever. But frankly, you are more likely just going to be, I don't know, leopard seal shit.
And when people like Jarl Andahoy try to go down there, they get turned away at gunpoint and put in prison.
Turned away at gunpoint and put in prison? I'm not sure that's how that works. You're either turned away, as in made to leave, or you're put in prison. Now, Jarl Bolgraf and his merry men have been told to fuck off from Antarctica a number of times apparently, but not because no one is allowed there, but because he didn't get the correct permissions. Again, you have to tell someone, but the guy seems to think that he's above the law, so shit happens. If he followed it, well, it would make for less dramatic TV. I wonder why he does that. Humdy hum.
So there's a big cover-up there in Antarctica as well.
Did you know that there's a cover-up in America? You see, I flew to America and it took a really long time, so my arms were super tired. And when I tried to waltz in like I owned the place, I was told I hadn't entered through the proper channels. I'm supposed to use a passport and buy a ticket and some other shit like that. So I had to leave. It was fucking embarrassing. But now I know they were clearly trying to hide something. What's there? Can't be a country. Otherwise, they would have just let me in without all these rules and regulations. And shit like, that's how the whole fucking planet works. It must be a secret whiskey stash. It is, isn't it? You can't keep it from me forever, America.
I don't know how far the ice goes, whether there's an edge, a barrier, a dome, or infinite plane, but
it's definitely one of the above and not the thing that, actually makes sense. We actually have proof for and can actually see for yourself if you weren't a bunch of lazy charlatans who do all their science in an armchair instead of literally anywhere where actual science is being done. Because fuck that shit. What, you think I'm actually going to bother proving that I'm right when I can just say established science facts are ridiculous and my credulous audience will eat it up like I'm the fucking Pope of stupid?
what we do know is that the Earth and the water is completely flat, for as far as we can see and as far as we've measured.
Inconceivable! Yeah, I know it doesn't mean no, but like I said. Anyway, it really isn't. We have measured it, and it's not fucking flat. Not by any standards that make any sense. And we certainly have measured the water on the planet. We, in fact, have a pretty good idea just how much of it there is. Now, of course, what I really should be assuming is when you say we, what you mean is us flat earthers, where I'm sure that's all technically true, but in a more, you're such a disappointment, son, kind of way.
And the horizon is completely flat, as far up as we go.
What? What the fuck would you expect it to be? A horizon is just a portion of a massive circle. The bit you're looking at is always going to appear flat from your vantage. But the fact that you can turn around and see a horizon, but it contains only a fairly small amount of the world's geometry around you, means that it is a circle. So yeah, no matter how high you are going to see the edge of that circle, and it's going to be as flat as a great big fucking circle. It's basic geometry. What are you even talking about?
All amateur rockets and all amateur balloons sent up over 20 miles, as high as they can go.
Well, obviously, that is completely correct. No way, of course it fucking isn't. Seriously, I do have to wonder if he's just that stupid, or if he's lying and expects no one to bother checking the shit he says. Or that, of course, we are lying and no one actually went higher than he said because they can't, although that then begs the question of how the do you know that? And who among your lot has tested it? If anyone, because doubt. And if by some miracle one of your lot did check that, and it's the highest that you've managed, what makes you think that you aren't just not good enough to achieve better? Although let's be fair, maybe it's a wording issue, and what he means is that the highest a weather balloon can go is 20 miles. And of course, that's wrong too, and has been wrong for ages. How can one person say so many incorrect things in a row without somehow deleting themselves from existence when the great simulation assumes that it must just be corrupt data and wipes it all? See, that's how we know this shit is really real. Simulation theory debunked.
The horizon is flat all the way around.
Around. Man, I wish I was as fucking funny on purpose. Damn.
And it rises to the camera all the way up.
Okay, apart from the fact that that's gibberish, no matter how you slice it, I assume what you mean to say is that the horizon is always at the same point of a camera if you can keep it perfectly stable and keep going upwards. But that's simply not true. Probably the first not true thing he said or video. I know, it's weird.
Rises to the level of the camera. This is totally impossible on a ball. No matter how big the ball was, as you rise up, you have to look down to see the curvature.
Right, but here's the thing. You do. The problem you are having is not understanding just how goddamn humongous the Earth is. I mean, for fuck's sake, if your dumbass thinks that you can go just 20 miles up in the atmosphere, how far exactly from the planet's surface do you think that is? Maybe this? Maybe this? No, it's fucking this shit. This teeny, tiny distance, so small, it's barely even off the surface of the Earth's actual scale. So you are talking about drops so small that they will be imperceptible to the human eye. But we can fucking measure it. It has been measured many times by people who actually want to know what is going on instead of continuing to believe whatever gibberish that they want. Flat earthers all seem to think that they have some kind of flawless set of senses that are able to measure things that no one can. But the fact is, no one but them is even stupid enough to attempt such a thing.
Look down to see the horizon. But what actually happens if you go up in a hot air balloon, the horizon rises right on up with you.
Oh, that's just freaking great. So for an example of how this happens, he uses something that's not even the actual Earth. And I'm assuming in this simulated version is just a flat plane in whatever software is being used. But the thing is, you could use the same tool, or at least something like it, to do what actual scientists are always trying to do and prove yourself wrong. Because if you made a ball to the scale of the Earth and then showed the same thing, you would see it behaves in the exact way you think it does. You wouldn't even need to measure it, because you wouldn't. But yeah, you would see that we absolutely don't expect some incredibly obvious dip, as we aren't even remotely close to a position that would make that kind of thing obvious.
The whole way up. Just keeps on coming up at eye level as high as you're going to go.
I think we all know just how high you are. I mean, you've got to be constantly, completely stoned off your tits in order to believe this shit. And I ain't mean like getting crunk for the weekend high. I'm talking about the kind of high where shit starts getting scary and you vow to never do that much of all injecting the pot again. AKA one toke of a marijuana cigarette. At least that's what McWoof the Fun Wolf told me. And are you going to deny that face? Eh?
That's just impossible on a ball. If you think about it, if you're on a ball and you're in a hot air balloon or an airplane, you should not be able to see out your window, straight out your window, the horizon. You should have to look down.
Don't be telling other people to think about things when you've clearly never done the same, you fucking half-wit. Like I said, you are skimming the surface. You are not going to need to look down to see the horizon. You are simply not that fucking high up. And the fact that you think you could possibly be is proof goddamn positive that you have no fucking idea what the hell you are even talking about. Shocking, I know.
Further and further down, the higher you ascend to be able to see that horizon. But you'll never look down to the horizon on the Earth. It will always rise up to your level.
And that's it. Eric proving that the Earth is flat in 2 minutes. And as with all, I can prove X incredibly stupid thing in Y minutes, people. All he's really done is prove that he's dumber than the universe is massive. And damn, that's a big universe, baby!
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstar Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos. And she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the